I gave their son a ride every morning for a year. Then they claimed I made him uncomfortable and filed a restraining order. Can't be too careful these days, she said, looking me in the eye. I thought my life was over until their son sent me a text that started. I'm a 38-year-old guy living in a small town in Ohio. I teach high school math. I've lived here most of my life, and until last year, I thought I had a decent handle on who people really were. This story is about how fast that can change. It started like this. I used to give a kid named Cody a ride to school every morning. He lived 3 houses down from me. His mom, Rebecca, had asked me if I could help out because she worked the early shift at the hospital and couldn't get him there on time. I said sure. I didn't even think about it. I saw her struggling, and Cody was polite, quiet. It was never weird or uncomfortable. I've been teaching kids his age for nearly 15 years, and I've never had an issue. I don't have kids of my own, so helping out felt like the right thing to do. So, every morning at 7:25 a.m., I pulled up outside their house. Cody would jog out. Same hoodie, same worn-out backpack, get in my truck. Sometimes we'd chat a little, about homework, snow, the calves. But most mornings, we didn't talk much. He liked music. I let him pick the station. That was about it. We did this for almost a full school year. And then one Friday in May, right before summer break, everything blew up. That morning felt like any other. I dropped him off like usual, nodded to the security guard, and went to class. Around third period, the school secretary came into my room and told me the principal wanted to see me. I remember grabbing my coffee and joking, "What now?" I was still halfway smiling when I walked in and saw the principal, the assistant principal, and someone from the school board sitting there. All serious. All staring at me. They said there had been a complaint. They said Cody told his mom I made him uncomfortable on the rides to school. I froze. My stomach dropped. I couldn't even understand what I was hearing. They told me I was being placed on administrative leave immediately while they investigated. I had to hand over my school keys. I couldn't teach. Couldn't come near the building. Couldn't contact any students. I asked what exactly he said. No one would tell me. Just that his mother had already filed a restraining order. I was in shock. I kept thinking it had to be a mistake. A misunderstanding. Maybe he said something that got twisted. I went home and sat on the couch for hours, staring at the wall. That night, I called Rebecca. No answer. I texted, "Is Cody okay? I don't understand what's going on." No reply. The next day, I tried driving past the house slowly, just to see if everything was normal. I didn't get out. I didn't talk to anyone. But a neighbor must have seen me and called, because that evening, 2 cops knocked on my door and told me I was in violation of a temporary restraining order. They said if I went near Cody or his house again, I'd be arrested. That was the moment it really hit me. My job, my reputation, everything I'd worked for. It was all hanging by a thread. I stayed home. I stopped answering calls. I started getting emails from parents at school, some angry, some concerned, some just disappointed. No one asked me what happened. They just assumed. I didn't sleep for 3 nights. And then, one morning, exactly 12 days after the first complaint, I got a text from an unknown number. It was from Cody. It said, "I didn't say that. I swear." I stared at that message for a long time. I didn't say that. I swear. I felt sick, angry, relieved, confused. All at the same time. I replied, "Then who did?" He didn't answer right away. I sat there with my phone in my hand, watching the screen, waiting for those little dots to show up. They didn't. An hour passed. Then 2. Around 9 p.m., he finally sent another text, my mom. She made it up. Said you were getting too close. Said it didn't look right. She told me to go along with it. I didn't know what to say. I didn't even know how to think straight. Why would she do that? I asked. He didn't answer for a while. Then he sent something that stopped me cold. Because she said if I didn't, she'd send me to live with my dad in Cincinnati. She said she needed a reason to cut ties. Said it was safer for her if people thought you were the problem. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Rebecca had weaponized me, used my kindness, turned it into something ugly, to protect herself from something I didn't even understand. I asked Cody, why now? Why tell me this now? Because I'm scared. And I didn't want to lie anymore. I didn't sleep that night. I thought about calling the police. I thought about calling the school. But anything I did could make it worse, for me or for Cody. The next day, I got a notice from the school board. My contract wouldn't be renewed. No explanation. No chance to speak. Just done. I lost everything. But that night, I got another message from Cody. This one was longer. She told her lawyer you'd been acting weird. That you were obsessed with me. She showed the messages you never sent. I saw them on her phone. She made a fake account and messaged herself. Then showed it to the lawyer. It hit me all at once. I was being framed. Set up. And Cody had proof. Can you get me screenshots? I asked. I'll try. Cody didn't text for 2 days after that. I was losing my mind. Couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I kept checking the news, waiting for something worse to happen. My name hadn't hit headlines, but in a town like ours, the rumors were just as bad. People at the grocery store wouldn't look me in the eye. Someone keyed my truck. Twice. On the third night, I got a message. It was a photo. A screenshot of Rebecca's phone. She'd used a fake account, my name, my face, but a different number. The messages were disgusting. Creepy. Like something from a crime show. And the worst part? She had used old photos of me from Facebook to build the profile. Stuff anyone could find. Nothing in those messages could be traced to me. But they looked real. I texted Cody, can you send me more? Anything with her voice or her talking about it. He responded, she caught me. Took my phone. I'm using a friend's to text you now. I don't know what's going to happen. Then, she said she'd press charges if I kept meddling. Said I was putting us both at risk. That's when I realized Rebecca wasn't just trying to ruin me. She was trying to scare her own kid into silence. I needed help. I called a lawyer. Showed her the screenshots. She told me we might have a case, but it would be tricky. Everything Rebecca had done was manipulative, but proving it in court would be a mess, especially without Cody's phone or a full confession. So I did something I wasn't proud of. I waited outside the school parking lot, and when I saw Cody walking home, I drove up slowly, rolled down the window, and just said, "You don't have to talk to me. Just nod if you're okay." He didn't nod. He looked straight at me and said, "She put a tracker on my phone. I'm scared, Mr. R." Then he walked away fast, like we never spoke. It tore me up. That kid was trapped. And now, so was I. The next day, my lawyer called me. "Did you have any recent contact with the boy?" I lied. "No," she sighed, because his mother just filed a second restraining order. This one includes loitering near the school. I felt like I was drowning. But later that night, Cody's friend messaged me. Said Cody gave him permission. Sent a voice recording. It was short. Just Rebecca's voice, low and cold. "You do what I say, or I'll make sure your teacher friend doesn't see the outside of a courtroom for the next 10 years. I sent that recording to my lawyer immediately. She called me the next morning, her voice sharper than usual. "This changes everything," she said. "We're not just talking defamation now. This could be considered perjury, obstruction, even child abuse, if we can get more." I asked if the recording was enough to clear me. She hesitated. "It's a start, but it won't erase the damage. The school's already replaced you, and she hasn't technically filed anything criminal yet, so we'd be trying to prove she manipulated the situation before it got to court, which is a gray area." I hung up and felt sick all over again. That night, I heard something at my front door around midnight. Thought it might be the wind, but when I checked, I found a flash drive under the mat. No note. No envelope. Just the drive. I plugged it into my old laptop, heart pounding like hell. There were videos. Cody must have found the baby monitor his mom used to use when he was younger. Probably forgot she left it plugged in the living room. In one of the clips, you could see her pacing back and forth, ranting into the phone. She was saying things like, "I don't care if it ruins him. He should have kept his distance. No one tells me I'm being dramatic. And worse, let the school board fire him. Let the neighbors think he's a creep. As long as they leave me and my son alone." It was clear. She didn't believe I had done anything wrong. She just wanted control. Over her image. Over Cody. Over the story people would believe. I sent the videos to my lawyer. She told me to sit tight. She'd file a motion in court within 48 hours. But that same day, someone slashed all 4 tires on my truck. No note. No cameras caught it. Nothing to prove who it was. The cops didn't care. Said maybe it was some random vandalism. Then Cody's friend messaged me again. This time, it was a warning. "She's going to say you threatened her. She's planning it." Cody heard her on the phone with someone. Maybe her lawyer. I didn't leave my house for 2 days after that. Then, the school board sent me a certified letter. They were reviewing evidence of continued misconduct. Something about new witness statements. They wanted me to appear at a closed-door meeting next month. I knew what was coming. She was making her next move. And this time, she wasn't just trying to get me fired. She was trying to destroy what was left of my life. The day after I got the letter from the school board, I came home to find my mailbox hanging off its post. Someone had ripped it out of the ground and smashed it in my driveway. I called the police again. They filed a report, but I could tell they didn't care. One of them even muttered, "Maybe people just want you gone, man." I didn't reply. What was the point? I forwarded the damage photos to my lawyer. She said we were close to getting a court date. The evidence we had, the audio, the video, the text messages, could finally expose Rebecca for what she was doing. But she warned me not to respond to anything. No calls, no texts, no confrontations. A week passed. Then I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. It was Cody. His voice was shaky. "She's moving us." Said we're going to her sister's in Michigan. "She's pulling me out of school. I don't know what to do. I can't leave like this." I called my lawyer in a panic. She told me to come in right away. That same afternoon, we filed an emergency motion to preserve witness testimony. She included everything: texts, screenshots, audio files, the flash drive. Cody wasn't 18 yet, but he was old enough that his voice would matter if we could get him in front of a judge. We didn't know how much time we had. Then, late that night, my phone buzzed again. Blocked number. I answered this time. It was Cody's friend, Jacob, the one who'd been passing messages. His voice was low and panicked. "She's flipping out. She found Cody writing something on his laptop. Took his phone. Smashed it. He told me to call you if anything happened." "What do you mean it happened?" I said. "She's packing the car. I think they're leaving tonight." I got in my truck. Tires replaced just 2 days ago, and drove toward their house without thinking. Halfway there, I pulled over. I couldn't violate the restraining order again. I couldn't get arrested. Instead, I called Jacob back. "Do you have a way to get Cody out of there?" He was quiet. "Yeah, but only if he wants to go. Tell him he can stay with me. Just for a night. Long enough to talk to the lawyer. I'll call CPS myself if I have to." Jacob texted me 20 minutes later. "He's coming. Meet us behind the hardware store in 10. Cody got in my truck at 11:48 p.m. that night. No bags. Just his school hoodie, a cracked pair of glasses, and a flash drive in his pocket. He looked exhausted. I asked him one question. "Are you sure you're ready for what comes next?" He nodded. "I don't want to lie anymore. I don't care what happens to her." That flash drive? It had everything. A full journal. Screenshots. And a video he recorded that afternoon, Rebecca screaming at him, calling him a traitor, threatening to ruin that teacher's name so no one ever trusts him again. The next morning, we gave it all to my lawyer. And the next chapter of this mess began. By noon the next day, my lawyer had filed for an emergency injunction to stop Rebecca from leaving the state with Cody. We were in front of a judge within 48 hours. My hands were sweating through the whole hearing. Cody sat beside me, quiet but solid. He looked older than his age, like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. Maybe he hadn't. Rebecca didn't show up. Her attorney did. He tried to claim Cody had been manipulated by me, that I was coaching him, that the files were fake, that the voice recordings were edited. But then the judge asked, very calmly, "Where is the boy's mother now?" The attorney froze. He didn't know. The judge looked down at the flash drive, then at Cody, then at me. If even half of what's on this is real, we're talking about serious obstruction and false testimony. I'm issuing a temporary stay of relocation and placing the minor in protective custody pending full investigation. Cody didn't blink. He didn't cry. He just nodded once. After court, CPS took him, not because he was in trouble, but because it was the only way to keep him safe while things got sorted. That night, someone threw a rock through my kitchen window. I was upstairs when it happened. There was no note, just the rock and shattered glass across my floor. This time, the cops took it more seriously. Maybe because I showed them the court order. Maybe because I was finally back on paper as a victim. The next day, the local paper ran a headline. High school teacher cleared in controversial case. New evidence points to fabrication. It wasn't a full story, but it was something. But then, something else happened. Rebecca showed up. Out of nowhere, she walked into the sheriff's office and turned herself in. Her face looked hollow in the mugshot. She claimed she had a mental break. Said she was overwhelmed, paranoid, trying to protect her son the only way she knew how. They charged her with filing a false police report, obstruction, and child endangerment. She posted bail the same day, and I'll be honest, part of me wanted that to be the end. I wanted to believe maybe that was justice. But then I got a letter. No name on it. No return address. Just a single page. Typed, "Enjoy the win. But this isn't over. Some people don't forget." I read that letter 5 times. It wasn't a threat in the legal sense, just enough to slip through the cracks. No fingerprints, no handwriting. Just clean, cold words. But I knew it was her, or someone close to her. I gave the letter to the police. They logged it. That was all. My lawyer said it was probably desperation. Someone trying to rattle me. But it worked. I didn't sleep that night. I kept checking the locks. Every sound outside made me flinch. The school board never apologized. Never called. Never offered to reinstate me. They just quietly removed the under investigation label from my record. I tried applying to other schools, none called back. The stigma clung to me, even with the truth out there. People still looked at me sideways at the grocery store, at church, at the post office. It didn't matter that the charges were dropped, that the restraining orders were thrown out, that the judge had literally said I was targeted. All people heard was the first version of the story. Cody ended up staying in state custody for 3 weeks. After that, a family friend took him in. He texts me once in a while, mostly short stuff. A photo of his new sneakers. A meme. One time, he sent, "You were the only adult who didn't make me feel like I owed them something." That one sat with me. I still don't know what made Rebecca do it. Maybe she really did believe I was too close. Maybe she needed someone to blame for the way her life was falling apart. Or maybe she just couldn't stand seeing her son trust someone else more than her. She pled out, got probation, parenting classes, no jail time. I asked my lawyer if I could sue for damages. She said I could, but I'd be spending years in court, chasing someone with nothing left to lose. So I didn't. I stayed quiet. Until now. Some nights, I still catch myself waking up early, looking out the window, expecting to see Cody jogging down the sidewalk with his backpack. And for a second, before I remember everything, I almost wave.